Welcome back, 1570 AM, Baltimore Positive, and no one more positive than my next guest, Nestor Aparicio. Nestor, welcome in.
I don't know about that this week. You and I were talking about going
Wow.
back downtown. I went back downtown for concerts. Is that it's positive? I'm going back
You
downtown
look
this
good.
weekend for Babe Ruth Museum. It's positive.
You're in one piece. You look good. No scars, no stitches. You look great.
I have a lifetime of very, very good fortune in ball. That's not true. I had my car broken into, all sorts of things, but that was 35 years ago, not recently. But yeah, what's not to be positive about the baseball team right now, right? They're winning games. I attended an accelerant function on Thursday morning, and first of the Orioles were there with the table. They had sales guides there. It wasn't like a line around the table. I assure you of that.
Not a long
but
line.
they were represented, and when I walk into a room, people think of me in sports or whatever, and there was no conversation I was in on a Thursday morning in July that did not include the Orioles. So they have at least put themselves on the tongue of a certain segment of Baltimore sports fan.
There's a buzz, and I'm one of them. I watched the Tuesday night game, the last 4 innings. I watched the Wednesday night game, the entire game, and I'm learning the players' names. They're a fun bunch, and guess what? If the product is good, right, we'll tune in. Even us casual, bandwagon type of fans, such as myself.
Well, they especially play well when they're in the orange, right? When they're in the orange, we all love them. It's about the pajamas, isn't it? The jerseys.
I like the pajamas, and you know what I'm learning? It's good to have both of your pillar franchises in town doing well. It just helps fill the gap between now and the start of football season for me as an avid football fan.
Well, I would say this to you. I mean, you've been following my career for at least 20 years, if not all 30 years. I came onto this train in December of 1991. We didn't have a football team. Let's start with that. So we didn't have the chance to have two good teams until 96. And 96 and 97, we had a really good baseball team. We didn't have a very good football team, but we had a football team. And then since that time, when the level set of, let's just say this century, how many times they've both been good at the same time?
That's
Once.
Utopia. Yeah, that's Utopia. It
really 2012, and it was an accident, right? I mean, literally, for the baseball team.
You know what? It's Utopia. It really is. I mean, I'm not going to watch summer NBA basketball. I'm not going to. There's only so much you can watch that's sports related that's not going to be compelling. But this is compelling baseball. I mean, they're a bunch of young guys. They have a collegiate type of atmosphere, Nestor. That's what I like about them. They're rooting hard for each other, and they believe. And right now, they've caught lightning in the bottle. Understand the schedule is tougher the second half of the season after the All-Star break, but at least, I'm one of those fans you talked about. I'm exactly that fan that's tuning in because they are having a measure of success.
Well, this would be, and I've said this all week, and I'll continue to say this, don't screw this up. These kids have screwed everything up. They've never really done anything. They've never accomplished anything. Now they hate each other. They're running the place, right? So you can say, well, the team's winning and they've done no, the job is running the business. That's one. They finally got their product fixed, right? Dennis, you've got great cars. You have nothing to do with that, really. You don't even make the cars, but you have great cars. Now, what about everything else in the dealership, right? So they don't have a great team. They have a team that we're going to pay attention to. So now everything around the outside, why the broadcasters aren't at the games. Right? Their broadcasters aren't even physically at their games. If you wanted to tune in the other night on Peacock, good luck with that. If you want to tune in while you're out, let's say at Pier 6. I'm at Pier 6. I'm watching Toad the Wet Sprocket and the Jim Blossoms. My wife loves the Bare Naked Ladies. Everywhere else, you buy the package and I'm paying for Masson on my cable. I should be able to watch the game wherever I am. These are I'm not my mother. I'm not staying home 7 nights a week. I'm not 94 years old to watch. The Orioles need to go where I go, right? And not just the goofy radio broadcast on the rock station that it shouldn't be on. I don't even know what to say to those four. I've been putting 98 Rock on all my life. You go there and you don't get rock music. I don't understand it. But that being said, and I'm not a radio listener to games. I mean, I'm visual with it. It's not 1976 and ain't the beer cold. So I want to experience the game. And what I find myself doing is checking the score on the app when they don't give me a chance to watch it. Mm-hmm. And there's so many problems with that amongst people under the age of 40. Now that if you're not going to bring it to me, I ain't coming to get it. I do Uber Eats, right? I mean, it comes to me. I do everything that comes to me because that's the way you are when you're 25. And there's still, not to mention, we could talk squeegee boys in the city and parking and cost and how much it costs to go to the games. But how about this, Dennis? $40 for the month to have an unlimited general admission ticket? I
Hallelujah.
mean,
I think that's brilliant. I've been saying that all along. Just get them to the park. They're going to buy hot dogs. They're going to buy beverages. They're going to buy shirts, right? Get them to the park.
there's if you're not going down to the park when they're making it essentially free to you to
It
come,
is. Yeah.
then it might be about the parking. It might be about crime. It might be about I live in Bel Air and it's a long way. It might be the game's on TV. I mean, there are a lot of people, you being one of them, because I've gotten to know you pretty decent. If I gave you free Ravens tickets now, you kind of like your Sunday, once you stop going. And they're going to find that out from me and my wife this year about us not buying tickets because they force me to not buy tickets now. The Ravens have done that you fall into a different thing. So for the Orioles, even at $40 for the month, how many people need to experience their Oriole baseball at the ballpark or will want to? If you give them the $40, you say, I'll go down there. You go 3 times this month, 6 times, 8 times. I mean, they don't have a lot of home games in September. They really don't. So I don't, how often will you go once you do it? And will it have that kind of value to resonate that next year you might give them $480 for a 13 game pack? I don't know what the gateway is. If the gateway, and we've learned this with, Living Social, and what's the other thing that doesn't exist anymore that everybody was using? The Groupon, right? We learned that the Groupon $40 fan, guy that wants to rent your car for $1 isn't a guy that's going to buy it for 10,000. So I don't know where that is, that it's so cheap that they should get people to the stadium, right? I mean, this should be something really appealing to thousands of people a night over the next 60 days. The stadium should start to look a little more full, even if they're not really getting paid for the tickets. They're getting $1 or $2 to get in.
Well, at least it's a better look, but it all depends, I think, Nestor, where each person is at their stage of life. I mean, I have friends and relatives in their 60s and 70s, and they'll watch the ball game. That's what they do. They have a lot of free time. My controller, who's been here 40 years, she's here on Saturdays and sometimes on Sundays. While she's multitasking, she'll put the game on the radio. That's her thing, which is really old school, right? I can't do that like you. I'm visual. I have to either see it or be there. But she's the kind of
listen in the
person.
car, but I don't think these broadcasters are very good. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being mean. I'd rather listen to Steely Dan on the way home.
I hear you. And I'm also in a point in life where I want to reclaim my time. My time is everything. So if I can tape something and fast forward through whatever soft spots, dead spots, and reclaim my time, whether it's baseball or football, what have you, I'm going to do that, Ness.
Well,
Because
baseball
I'd rather be fishing.
Baseball is a thing you can have on in the corner, but what else are you doing at 8 or 9 or 10 at night that maybe you're doing the billing for your company. Maybe you're grading your homework because you're a teacher or what I don't know. But whatever it is, to sit there and go like this and just watch
difficult.
It 4 hours a night.
It's tough. I tell you what, I took in the 4 innings better than I took in 9 innings. It was just a smaller sample for me, the last 4, and it was enough. It was good, though.
Well, it's baseball, right? And I've had it in my life, in my blood, all my life. Not everybody has. A lot of people like you, it comes in and out. It waves in and out. Because of what I've done for a living, there's been a specific – yeah, I often wonder, Dan, and this is a really great conversation for me to have because I don't really know the answer to this because I'm too – this is what I've done. This is all I've ever done in my life is sit here and like – my whole adult life, 31 years, sit here and wait for baseball season. Once we got a team, wait for football season, wait for the Terps, wait for the Preakness, talk about the Super Bowl. I've been doing this all of my adult life. I don't know at what point, and there have been a lot of people in my life who love the Orioles. Like Ray Bachman is a great example, my former producer, who whenever I see him, he says he doesn't watch anymore. Now, I don't know if he's watching this week. He was Oriole first, Raven second by far, right? Got tired of the greed. Being around here, sniffed enough of them to sniff that they sniffed themselves, and just he's down in Pasadena living his life. And I don't know if he's back onto the games, but there were a lot of people that loved it, paid for it, supported it, went to 33rd Street, loved Eddie, loved Cal,
Sure,
all of that. And at some point during this century, they just stopped altogether in almost every way. I don't know who those people are, and I don't know what it's going to take to bring them back. I mean, bringing me back's irrelevant. They don't care about me. They haven't cared about me in 20 years. They should care about the people who listen to me, who might go and give them money. And but the people that got out of the soap opera, I don't know what it is that got them out. I don't know what that summer night that they stopped listening to the game that they've been listening to for 30, 40, 50 years. But this is their opportunity to bring it back in. And this is the family's opportunity. This is the ownership opportunity. This is the franchise's opportunity. This is the brand's opportunity. This is the sports opportunity to get people back again. This is the window for them to make Dennis get back down there, feel good about it, enjoy himself, put it on 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week, when you can, know when they're playing, know what their next series is, know that they're not playing tonight, as an example, right? I mean, just having the schedule in front of you is something that I always had. It was always in my calendar. About 3 years ago, I kicked them out of my schedule. They're little orange and gray home and away games at 7:30.
Yep. I remember I used to get those little packets from people all the time. I haven't seen one of those in years. Now, of course, we have a lot of stuff online, but I used to like getting the little schedules where, with the white and the gray and the orange, and because it was convenient, you can see their schedule. You can see
you would tape it up on your refrigerator.
We all did.
Or you tape it up on the next to the telephone or
Absolutely.
next to your office, or you'd have it in your wallet. And that is such an old guy thing. I mean,
is.
That's fine, but having it around so I can look down on it and say, oh, they're playing the Yankees next week. What time? What Saturday? When they play? 1, 4, or 7? It's on Saturday. What time is it? Maybe I'll go down on Michi's. Maybe I'll get some food. Maybe treat it like I treated the Bare Naked Ladies the other night, which was, if the weather was good and we were in the mood and we had some energy, we were going to go, and we didn't need to buy tickets ahead of time or anything like that. Sure. But do you make an ethical? And have you talked to your wife? Do you talk to your kids? You talked about your friends? That you're going to the game? What game are you going to? You don't have to buy a ticket, but are you thinking about a game? And that's what the calendar does. Oh, shoot, man, look at that. I'm free on the 26th. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know what it's going to take, but there's a lot of empty seats down there. There's a lot of space. They're trying to fill it up now, and this is their chance. This is their chance to get everyone like me and you that haven't been in a long time, that the last time we went, it wasn't the same as it used to be. We've been awakened. What's going to get our credit card out? What's going to get our time? What's going to get our heart? What's going to get our heart, really? Because the heart, that's the big thing. The wallet comes next. They need to get you interested.
Well, we're interested, but again, not to get political once again, but if they can make us feel safer about going downtown, I think that would really help fill up the stadiums, both the M&T Bank as well as Camden Yards. I really do.
Well, Dennis, you gave me the Mr. Positive thing. All right, so I was downtown for 4 hours on a Wednesday night. It wasn't a Thursday, Wednesday night. I had 7 dirt bikes cut me off on they're squeegee boys, but I got cut off at President Street at 10:15 by a dozen dirt bikes making a left turn out of the right lane, like across traffic on a green light, on a red light, crossing breaking the law, breaking every law. Just breaking every law you can see. Every traffic law, every licensing law, every safety law,
common
all of
sense,
that
everything, all that stuff.
And then we're up on the promenade in front of the Marriott, and I had the 2 kids that are about 12 years old that ride their bike, the head of their bike up to your skull and move it. And they do it in front of everybody. And that was our goodbye to Baltimore. As we walked down where the old morgue was in front of the Marriott, we had kids riding at our heads with their bicycles. So all the greatest hits, we had.
A hit. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, these are the greatest hits of being walking through the harbor. That should never happen. That I've never had happen anywhere else in my life. I walk through cities brazenly. I walk through cities all over the world at all hours. So I've never had a kid ride at my head or my wife's head, and then every single person with their bicycle wheel coming toward your skull at 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. It's only happened 1,000 times to me. I live downtown.
I've never heard of that before. Never.
Come on downtown. I'll show you. We'll teach you. Come down on a Saturday or Sunday.
I don't think I want to see that.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. So
From your head.
So we had, okay. We backed. The kids are on bikes. Move out of the way. Got to get out of the way because they're coming right at you. They're coming at you to intimidate you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I often wonder what happens when they hit the first person, and we get a fractured skull. I don't want to be me or my wife, but what happens when the first time that happens?
Well, they won't get prosecuted. That's what happens because
Yeah,
nobody.
I've been called a racist for a week on the squeegee boy issue, and I said to Bill Cole the other day, I said, "What's the issue when I say the limes should have been outlawed because they're just as chaotic as anything that creates traffic chaos
I agree.
or fear on the sidewalks, anything that
Has
creates
nothing
chaos."
to do with race. Zero.
It's anything that creates chaos. Chaos to me, those limes, those scooters, they are the most dangerous thing in the city. I just can't believe a lot of people haven't died.
Yeah,
because
to me, the race of the person is not relevant. It just isn't. When you're breaking the law, it doesn't matter who you are. You're breaking the law. You're harassing the public. If I want to take my family downtown, whatever, to have dinner and go to a game, I don't want to be harassed. I want to be safe. And I don't care who the people around me are, what they look like. Leave me alone. Just let me go about my business. Don't do what that kind of behavior.
Be a good citizen. Let's teach people how to be a good
respectful.
citizen.
If you're respectful, if we're a respectful city and everybody's law abiding, whatever, wonderful. There's nothing racist about that. There really is.
You know what? Maybe I should bring it up with Brandon Scott that respect can be the next, because it really is a lack of respect for themselves and for other people.
It's a total lack of respect, right? We grew up, we respect our elders. God forbid you got in trouble at school, you got in trouble at home. Everybody was on the same page, right? Because you had respect. There's no respect in this area anyway. In a greater Baltimore metropolitan area, respect is going out the window.
Well, we got to change that. We really need to change that. And part of that is people coming together. Part of that is people congregating at church, at school, at ball games, at functions, at events. Respect when you're in a theater.
Civil.
Fuller and I talk about this all the time. Just going to a movie theater, something I don't do, because there's just always somebody in there that makes it not pleasant for me to be there. And this, I talk about this at concerts all the time. Talk about respect. My wife and I, the Springsteen dates got announced, right? April 7th, he's coming back here. I said, I remember the last Springsteen tour, and I spent $200, $250. I get a nice seat. Bruce's people take care of me. Nils Lofgren puts me on the list, and I do a charity turn. I donate $50 to his charity in order to get the really good tickets, take care of him out in Arizona. And I get there, and I'm 20 feet from Bruce Springsteen. Everybody there has paid a lot of money. They've waited a long time. And Bruce will have a nice quiet song, singing My Hometown or something. And I'll have two jackasses having a full conversation about, that pizza we had today, man. The pepperoni wasn't crisp enough. And I'm thinking to myself,
been there, done that.
And that's at concerts.
I know. You have the person in front of you, right? They're on whatever social media, videotaping themselves, standing up the whole time, and you're like, lady, sit down. I mean, and you got to call security.
Here to see Bruce, not you, right?
Yeah, I'm not. If you want to take selfies, whatever, go someplace else and videotape yourself with this concert, but don't sit there in front of me. Behave this way. Then it's my fault for trying to correct you. So then I try to get another adult involved that has a badge to say, hey, you know what? This person, blocking my view, and she doesn't understand that the reason why the seats are staggered this way, so we can see if nobody cared, would be in a flat arena. But because the seats are elevated, I mean, people just have zero common sense. I really do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I see it all the time in airports. I see it in places where, COVID has taken us apart. Now we're going back together again. We're convening again, which humans have been doing since the beginning of time. What's a Barbra Streisand said? People need people, and that's part of the Oriole experience, right? Part of the Oriole experience is bringing people down, all yelling in the same direction, high-fiving, and then of course using Purell after you do that. But that communal feeling is what brings cities together, people together. That's been the joy of the football and baseball team. Not as much the baseball team during sadly, but the football team has brought black and white, rich and poor, east and west together in this city time and time again, really going back to the Colts, all the way through, that there is something about bringing people together. And then when you're together, you say, what is appropriate behavior in these circumstances, and the city right now lacks some of that, and there's no doubt about that, and that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but again, that is a factor for a lot of law-abiding citizens to consider when they're going downtown. It's a fact. It affects everything, including our sports teams and how we support them. It is a consideration, not for everyone. Again, I get that, but some people are more sensitive to others.
Well, if you're not going downtown for the ball game, then you're not going down to get dinner, and then you're not going down to leave money, and you're not
going. You're just not going.
And that hollows out downtown. And we all know that. We all know that. And I used to blame it on the baseball owner because it really was the beginning of it. The beginning of people clearing out of downtown was the baseball team giving them a reason to not come anymore. And then the Nationals happened, and then everybody south of the city that had affluence, that had money, that pulled up and, and spent money and weren't afraid of box seats and weren't afraid of club seat charges. Sure. And like all of that audience has gone, and I don't know what they're ever going to. That's why I worry about the future of the team, because I do worry in the back of my mind, Dan, and this isn't about crime or the city. This is about the totality of all of it, that they're going to win and no one will come. You know what I mean? And if that happens, that's a ticket for the franchise to leave. That's a real ticket for the franchise to leave.
And that falls with the lack of leadership in Baltimore City, in the city of Baltimore.
But they have to get people back.
It falls squarely on the shoulders. That's all on them. Not just with the baseball team, but also with all the restaurants and every other business that's downtown.
By the way, the kid that shot the man is from Essex. So here's what I'm thinking. He's 14 years old, right? He was on his 15th birthday. He's going to prison, right?
They
arrested him this morning. Yes,
they arrested. Did not see that.
15-year-old kid. He was 14 when he committed the crime. 15 the next day. It was the day before his birthday, and he's from Essex. And I'm thinking to myself, how many jobs do you pass? And again, he's 15. He can't even get a job, let alone kill somebody, right?
Wow.
He shouldn't be on the street. There should not be a 14-year-old slapping anything on my car windshield from any municipality.
While carrying a gun. While carrying a gun.
Sorry about that. Let me fix that. Left that part out. So, this is where we are now. It's a city issue. These kids are from the city. They're from the neighborhood.
Nope, not true.
They're what are they busing in to squeegee? I mean, seriously. I mean,
Well, there's more to that. There's also a lot of things with people using these kids for drug dealing, et cetera. So the squeegee thing, to a degree, is a cover for other enterprises that are illegal, whether it's gun trafficking or drugs or whatever. So there's a lot of elements, because
your worst nightmare is your thought that the kid has a gun. The squeegee kids all have guns, right? Like, I never really thought about that. Like, I've never thought a squeegee boy's going to shoot me on the corner.
Well,
I've never thought a squeegee boy's going to carjack me either. But I think the notion that they're there, they shouldn't be there. I mean, that's also in any other city.
There's some squeegee men that mixed in with the boys, but the point is they're allowed to make money illegally, right? So what's to stop them from making money other ways illegally to feed their families, to support their families? But when you allow folks to engage in illegal activity, no matter what it is, there's bad consequences as a result of that, whether it's a kid from Essex or the kid from Woodlawn or whatever, or the man from Druid Hill, whatever.
It's not illegal because we're mean. It's illegal because it's a bad idea for the society.
It's illegal. It's a law. You can't solicit in traffic. You just can't. You can't panhandle. So when we have politicians and authorities and police that force the laws to be followed and prosecute people who are breaking the law, then we get things cleaned up. But until that happens, this is what we have.
Well, I hope we go back to baseball games. We got an all-star game next week. We're inching closer. Lamar's mouthy on Twitter now with Bernard Pollard. Dude, I wouldn't give Bernard Pollard a retweet or an answer. I would mute him. I mute people like Bernard Pollard in my life every day.
I blocked him years ago. I'm not interested in the guy who's been throwing rocks at John Harbaugh and the organizations ever since he left. He was part of the mutineers. Him and Ed Reed, they didn't like coaches' practice methods. You know what? You won a Super Bowl. You were a big piece of that Super Bowl. I mean, my God, he made a couple of really good plays to get him.
And now you can't come home again. Now you're never going to get invited back.
Don't be in it. Root for the kid. The kid's the argument is he a top 10 quarterback? Support him, right? He's playing for a contract. Aren't you supposed to be have some camaraderie with your fellow players, active and retired, and root for them? What benefit? How does it benefit Lamar Jackson for Pollard to say he's not a top 10 quarterback? You got Ryan Clark, a former Steeler, saying the kid's a top 10 quarterback, and you got one of our own guys supposedly saying he's not.
This is why I'm not good at sports radio anymore, because I can't have is he a top 10 argument? Give me a call. Like, what do you think? Like, I just think it's an insane
It is, but my point is you have a former player, retired player, saying he's not helping his cause. Not that anyone in Owings Mills is going to pay attention to what Bernard Pollard thinks about Lamar Jackson, but my point is, he as a former player should be supporting the young man who's in the middle of contract negotiations or
he's a
somewhere
bad guy,
thereabouts.
right?
He is,
I mean,
he's a bad apple.
I watched Bernard Pollard's act, and the thing that I tweeted to Lamar was, you should have just talked to your coach about this guy, and coaches say, that guy's full of, like.
Don't give him energy. Do not give him any energy. Don't give the troll energy, right? I mean, he said, I had to Google to see who you are. Leave it at that. Because you make him irrelevant, but you don't respond to this goof calling you out.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he'll never get paid. Lamar's going to get paid.
To understand that, and that's very unfortunate. I mean, again, I watch these things, and to your point, if you're like, if he's playing for a contract, root for him. Well, then get your ass to OTAs, bro. You're playing for a contract, then show up and do what the rest of your teammates do. So I'm not letting I didn't show up at OTA, and then I come back and lie to the media about why I'm not there. Then I continue to lie to the media, and Nestor's got to say the right things in order to have his press pass because it's Lamar. He must be honest. He's been dishonest, and like he just has, and that's fine. Go make your money, but give a straight answer. And when you appear on July 13th, don't make it arguing with some jackass like Bernard Pollard. Go enjoy your day. Go throw some passes. You got to get 2 weeks off. Go ride a jet ski or go do something, and then come back and play football. But you don't need to be on a Wednesday afternoon. I don't need to be on a Wednesday afternoon fighting with Bernard Pollard. Why would he?
It's comical at best. It really is. It just is.
Such is life on the internet. But Dan, we got to, we're one more week, and then it's training camp.
You got
Here
it.
we are. So,
okay.
And they moved the All-Star game, and the Orioles are relevant, and
we have a baseball draft Sunday night. I mean, it's great. I think it's wonderful.
That's right. We're getting the best player available. So we'll have a new savior beginning Sunday night. Drew Jones.
I'll be watching. Keep doing great things, Ness. As always, I appreciate your time.
I hope they don't screw up the pick on Sunday.
I don't think so. There
you and me, Yankees next weekend. Pick a night. We're going.
Okay. I'll call some people downtown that I know.
I want to see Nasty Nestor pitch. So the night that Nasty Nestor pitches, I might go to the Yankee. It's like Ohtani. I missed Ohtani. So somebody's got to give me free tickets, but I won't work on that. I'll figure it. I'll do what they used to do. I'll sneak in under the knothole.
We know some people there. With that, we'll take our next break here. 1570 AM WNST. Be back right after this.